crafters. Today I would like to show you special and super cool product, the Stabilo pens. Here I would like to just say thank you to Julia from justonemorcard.com who introduced these pens on her blog and YouTube channel. I will link to her videos in the description as well, and I asked Julia if it's okay with her that I make a video starring Stabilo pens, and she said yes, so here we are. I got the pens as a gift from my husband the other day and finally got the chance to try them out. To me, they are just perfect. I love how vibrant the colors are, and in this set I got, you have this cool case. There's 20 different colors and there's quite a lot of shades of each color, which is pretty cool because you can do some shading. One thing that you have to remember is that for shading it is best to use quite thick watercolor paper. And this is what I'll be showing you today, blending using these Stabilo pens. Another great feature of these pens is the fact that you can watercolor with them. Here's the sample of a card that I made using that technique. I used the card design similar to Julia's. I just love butterflies, and these new long phone stamps I got were waiting for something spectacular. Now normally for heat embossing I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, but it kinda dried out on me, so I had to use pigment ink by Dove Craft, which luckily I had. And so I'll be stamping out my design and then I'll heat emboss it using Paper Mania clear embossing powder. Now of course, when using pigment ink there are some disadvantages. It smudges everywhere and you gotta be real careful not to get it on your hands or anywhere you don't want it on your project. And so I was trying to be really careful, but later on when I cut out my masks, it turned out that I touched some of the ink and it transferred onto my flowers, so I had to restamp the card front, because I just wanted it to be perfect, and since I wanted the flowers to be in bright colors, those black smudges would be very visible, so I just redid the whole card front. Another thing with pigment inks is the fact that it's really hard to clean them off your stamps. I do not have any stamp cleaner yet, so I had to use a very wet wipe. It eventually did come off. I kind of tried to stamp it off the stamp onto my surface. But yeah, I was quite upset when I found out that my VersaFine was out of ink. So like I said, I had to cut out 3 masks again, and then I just placed them on the flowers and stamped the leaves. And after that I heat embossed the whole layout, and we're gonna get down to coloring. I finally discovered the proper lighting for my video, so hopefully from now on it is always going to be so nice and bright. Here's the layout all finished, and now I'm gonna get down to coloring. So I'm starting coloring the butterflies, and I'll be using numbers 58, 55 and 56 for the wings. I must confess that I had a lot of fun using these pens. They have a lot of ink and it's really super cool to color with them, and they work perfectly on this thick watercolor paper. And because they are very wet, it is kind of easy to blend them together, but just a tip not to go over the previous color, but rather start to blend it on the very edge where the darker color ends, to combine it with brighter and then so. I also noticed that when you're using the brighter color, sometimes you can get the darker color on the tip of it, which is good and bad, or rather mostly good, because you can easily just scribble it on the on your piece of paper and they're perfectly fine. But you can also create the gradient effect. If you touch tip to tip of a darker and brighter color and then you go over your surface, whether it's a watercolor paper or just a regular paper, if you want to just write a sentiment with your own handwriting, it works perfectly. And here I must apologize because turned out my card was full and the camera stopped recording, and I already started coloring in the flower. Luckily I have 2 more flowers to color, so I can show you on those. And for the yellows and reds, I'll be using the red is number 48, orange 54 and yellow 44. And so I'm starting with the middle using the red, and then I layer the red towards the inside of the flower and then take the orange and push the red to the outside, and that's how I blend out this layer. Mind you, this one is a very tiny area, so when the area is bigger you should just try to maybe do circular motions. I found out that helps a lot as well. For the bigger petal, I layer a little bit of orange and then take the yellow and try to kind of in circular motion blend those 2 colors together, or push the orange higher towards the end of the petal. I hope what I say kind of makes sense, but just in case, make sure that you do circular motions and push the darker ink towards the brighter, but not too much. Leave yourself that area, maybe scribble off your brightest pen to the side and then finish off the rest of the petal with making sure that it's the brightest color and not contaminated with the darker one. And here's how the color looks like when it's a little contaminated with the darker one. I think it's pretty cool. And now for the leaves, I'm using just the 2 colors of green. That's darker is 36 and brighter is 33. And just the same kind of way, I layer the darker one kind of in the middle and towards the inner side, and then blend it out in a circular motion using my brighter color. It is much easier to blend these, I realized, on the small surfaces rather than the bigger ones. So I'm gonna have to do some projects using bigger surfaces and see how that is also. Now for the sentiment, I will be using the same stamp set, Flatter by Lawn Fawn, and I'll be stamping the sentiment Believe in Your Dreams. I actually had to cut it because I wanted to put Believe above the rest of the sentiment, and I'll be using Archival Deep Purple ink. And now after I've done all the coloring, I decided that I want to layer the flowers, because of course why not? Actually I didn't mind because the coloring these flowers using these pens is really relaxing. So I stamped more of these flowers and some of the leaves. I heat embossed them, colored them in, and I'll be using foam tape or foam squares to pop the flowers on top of the already colored one. You of course don't have to color the bottom ones if you will be layering them. I just kind of had a last minute idea, and then you'll see how the result is. As one of the last tips, I just would like to say that you probably shouldn't use Wink Stella on those colored elements because it smudges, it still reacts with water. Even a few days after, the colors will still react with water, so Wink Stella is kind of out of the question unless you put it first and then add the colors. I should try that and see how that works. But besides that, I mean, the colors are just fantastic. They're super vibrant and easy to blend, so I would really recommend these pens if you like the colors and you like easy blending. And just to finish off my card, I'm gonna use some tape runner and adhere my card front to kind of purple lilac card base. And that was all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching coloring with Stabilo pens, and maybe you'll give them a shot. Take care, bye!